Hey, great. Everybody, welcome to All Stars and Stripes Heroes Connection. This is a place for military, veterans, first responders, their families, advocates, or anybody who wants to do business-to-business networking with them, people who are of like mind and patriots in this country. So now I normally have a little riddle, start with a riddle, but today I decided to do more of like a trivia question. We have D-Day is coming up. So I'm just curious how many people know D-Day was also known as Operation what? Does anybody know? No? Interesting bit of trivia. It was Operation Overlord. It's also called Normandy. So we'll talk a little bit more about D-Day in a little bit. So for the next 57, 58 minutes or so here, we start each meeting with a minute of silence. So if you ever pop in the meeting and you see this little clock up and nobody's saying anything, that is why. And it's just a time for people to reflect, to remember those who have sacrificed their lives for our country, those who are sacrificing their time, families, just to remember them, to pray for them. You may just use the time to stop and reflect on your own service and maybe meditate. So whatever you want to do with that 1 minute. And then we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance and then a national anthem. We'll talk a little bit about who we are, what we are, where we are, and all of that, what the Scuttlebutt Club is and how to invite new members. We'll have a hero highlight, business briefs. Everybody will get their 30 to 60-second chance to tell us about who you are, where you're from, what we can do to help you with your business. Then we have a spotlight speaker. If you would like to get set up to be a spotlight speaker, I'll be telling you how to do that. And then we'll have announcements and reminders. And I also would like to start including testimonials during that time as well. So remind me if I forget. And then we'll have an inspirational thought and then fellowship and moving on. We'll start with a minute of silence. Okay, we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now this national anthem was sent to me by Dennis. It is a TikTok short video. Hopefully it'll pop up here. Come on. There we go.
Oh, say, can you?
Can everybody hear it? Yes. Oops. No. Hang on. Okie doke, here we go.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the hope of the brave?
Thank you so much for sending that, Dennis. That is the Voices of Service. I believe they were on
They were on
America's Got
America's Got
Talent.
Talent 5 years ago, and I've been
Yeah.
following them ever since, and they are awesome.
They are great. And if anybody else has any national anthems that are special to you, or you run across one, if you want to do a little digging, I am happy to share those. So please, it helps make my job easier too. So, okay, the who, what, where, when, how, and why about this group. I'll go through this very quickly. Who is this group for? Like I talked about in the beginning, it's for not just military and veterans and first responders, but also nonprofits, their families, or anybody who wants to do business networking. What is the group about? Sharing helpful information, connection hub for businesses and organizations that want to connect with and or are run by our nation's heroes, and for promoting one another's businesses. So when we have a spotlight speaker, if you all could just do whatever you can to help support that person's business, and then also all the other members as well. Where are the people from? We're from everywhere. We were talking about that a little bit ago, from sea to shining sea and overseas and on the sea, and we meet on Zoom. When do we meet? 3 o'clock Central Time, but that is also 2 o'clock Mountain Time, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 Pacific. And how do we meet? Just normal Zoom courtesy. I don't need to tell you nice people all about that, but if you need to read it, it's right there. And then why do we meet? Just to help us be more resourceful, to get us connected to one another for camaraderie, encouragement, empowerment, and fellowship. What is the Scuttlebutt.club? It is a landing page that I created for this group. I've been trying to keep up with it. Sometimes I get a little behind, but I'll put the recording from the previous spotlight speaker or from the previous meeting on there. There's also a link directly to this meeting. And then at the bottom, there is a form that you can fill out to become a spotlight speaker. There's also links to our YouTube channel and all of that. And then this is what it would look like if you pull it up on the computer. It is an HTTP, not an HTTPS. I'm working on trying to figure out how to get that changed. Now there's actually 2 groups that I promote this in. One is our group, the All Stars and Stripes Heroes Connection on Alignable. The other is the military spouse entrepreneurs, small business owners, and freelancers. We're up to 1,209. We were below 1,000 when we first started these meetings. So we're growing. Keep telling people about us and try to be active in the group. When you see a post or somebody else post, just hit a like. I'm sure there's algorithms that it's going to help. So please do that. And I'm going to stop sharing. I did hit record, correct? I didn't. Yeah, it says recording. Okay, great. All right. I am going to just kind of see if I can remember who I called on and go across. So this would be a time for you to share your 30 to 60 seconds about yourself, your business, where you are. You can tell us what branch of the service you were in, or who a family member who was in, or if you would like to share that. And then I'm going to start with Ruben.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Angela.
Yeah.
I'm an artist and a digital tool designer. I paint every Wednesday with veterans, and we create artwork. And I'm on Alignable most of the time. So if you see me on Alignable, go ahead and network with me, and I can see if I can develop something for you and your business. I develop what they call landing pages and QR codes that you can control on your phone with an app. So you can change the message, you can change the shape of the QR code for your business. Thank you.
And I will say that that's where our landing page for this group, the scuttlebutt.club, came from. So let's see, Ken. You are muted. There you go.
I am unmuted now. Thank you for calling on me, Angela. My name is Ken. I'm calling from Southern California, Anaheim area, about 10 minutes from Disneyland. And she asked about how we are a veteran. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I was in Vietnam from 68 to 69. Probably earlier than some of you may even be alive. I'm not quite sure, but long time ago. And my wife and I, we have been married for 32 years. We just celebrated our anniversary last Saturday. So
Right.
33 years. And we've been in the marriage field for 30 years. We've been teaching classes all over California, from Northern California to Southern California and many cities in between. And we've been, as I mentioned, teaching classes live. And we are, because of age, because of health, we've decided that we need to go from teaching classes behind a podium to meeting couples online. And that's what we are in the midst of doing. It hasn't been as easy as we thought it would be, but we've been working on attempting to meet couples one-on-one on Zoom. And we have a 5-week class that we want to take people through. So that's what we're doing. We are retired, but not retired. And we're supposed to be retired. We live in a senior mobile home park, so we're supposed to be sitting on our porch on our rockers, waving as people go by, but we can't do that. So we're doing what we feel led to do, and we're very, very blessed at helping couples have the best marriages that they can have.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, if you want to sign up to be a spotlight speaker, we'd all love to hear more about that. Okay, John. Petros. I think we only have one John.
Hello, I had to unmute here. Up here in New England, up in Massachusetts, enjoying nice weather finally. Getting my pool open to start enjoying that. I was not in the military, but I had a brother who was in Cam Bay in Vietnam, in one of the supply depots. And one of the stories that he used to tell us was they were enjoying themselves in camp one time. And this ship came in under an American flag. As soon as they got to the dock, down came the American flag, and up came their flag and started attacking the bay. And all they could do is jump in trucks and head out of the area. But I support veterans quite a bit. My folks were very much involved in veterans groups. Actually, the oldest veterans group in the country, the Army Navy Union, which has since gone down a little bit because a lot of the younger veterans did not want to get involved with a bunch of old veterans, unfortunately. But my father was national commander one time, and my mother was also national lady president of the auxiliary. So I used to go on conventions with them when I was younger and enjoyed it quite a bit. So I am very much a supporter of veterans. My business, I do online ads for businesses on all social media platforms using AI. So if anybody's interested, I will put my email in the chat. And I am expanding on the marketing. I am working on being a one-stop shop for businesses. Right now, I'm taking a course on funding. So small businesses get turned down by banks. I can most likely get funding for them through different sources. And I'm working on other things coming down the road. More on those when I am the spotlight speaker on July 1st.
Yes, yes. And I would encourage everybody to get on the spotlight speaker calendar. And thank you so much, John. And I'm looking at the time. If we could try to keep them close to 30 to 45 seconds so we can get through everybody. I'm going to move on to Dennis.
Well, thank you, Angela. My name is Dennis Schroeder. I am a 24-year Army veteran medical service corps officer living just north of Nashville, Tennessee. I currently run and have for the last several years run a nonprofit organization called the Price of Freedom Foundation, where we tell the complete life stories of those who died in military service or because of their military service. And I just put all of our my contact information in the chat for you to follow up on. Our most important thing is we've got an event, our very first public event happening on August 10th in San Diego. So all of y'all in the Southern California area, please, there's a link in there. The tickets are free. So please come out and support us and see more about us. Thanks.
Okay, and be sure to post that in our group too for anybody in that area. And now
the Alignable group. I'll
yeah,
try
the
and
Alignable group. Yeah,
I'll try and figure out how to do that. Yes.
Okay. If or just send it to me and I'll post it. So either way. All right. So Bob Tuttle.
Okay. Bob Tuttle, Naval Air, Vietnam, 66 to 68, flew out of Chu Lai. We were flying large aircraft and I was flying north of the DMZ for most of the time. So I've got over 5,000 flight hours north of the DMZ. And currently I do a lot of things. I'm a technocrat, so I work on computers and take care of computers for companies and individuals. I also, most recently, I am doing videos of veterans, and the DVD results of that go to the Library of Congress. And then shortly, I'll be starting to do videos of veterans in our city, and those will be in a new museum that we're putting together so that people can look through and look at the history of veterans that are in our city.
That's awesome. Well, sounds like Bob and Dennis need to get together and talk for sure. Y'all are kind of in the same vein there. Let's see, Paul.
Bob, welcome home.
Paul Lipscomb.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to meet everyone. My name is Paul Lipscomb. I'm the owner of Processio Strategic Services. We do HR outsourcing. So most of the time our clients tend to be less than 100 employees, and we can do everything from completely becoming their HR department. We do recruiting. We have a low-cost advising service where they get unlimited access to an advisor. And then this year, we actually started a nonprofit called Phase Line Veteran. The goal is to connect veterans with employers, trying to eliminate the hiring barrier that some civilian employers have to hiring veterans to help them as they transition and then as they continue to kind of work throughout their career post-service. So.
Thank you,
And
Paul.
I
I've
was,
got
sorry,
some-
yes, sorry, I was gonna say, I was in the Army for about 5.5 years, served in Afghanistan. I was an infantryman, so probably the least likely HR person coming from the infantry, but I always say I've seen it all and I've heard it all, so it makes me good at what we do, so.
Sounds good. Well, I have somebody to send to you. So if I don't in
perfect.
the next day or two, shoot me an email to remind me.
For sure. Thank
Okay.
you.
Papa John, Santa.
Good afternoon, and first of all, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for serving. I truly appreciate it. I'm a Santa that makes people smile, ladies and gentlemen. This has been here for 14 years, and there's a lot of people out there that don't even have a reason to smile. So I can walk around the corner, I can get into a meeting, and I can make people smile. And we need more of that in this goofy world that we live in. But I make one-of-a-kind videos. Happy birthday videos, Santa check-in videos, but this is the one that's taken off right now. Is your business Santa approved? And I'd love to get some more veterans. I'm already involved with Project Die Hard, and they're Santa approved, and I'd love to get some more business Santa approved. But I don't forget our veterans. I do a daily video, and I tell everybody to thank the veteran when they see them and thank them for their service, whether it be a male or female, because there's no difference. A veteran is a veteran. And ladies and gentlemen, we need to cheer the world up a little bit, one step at a time. And that's what I'm doing. I'm creating opportunities to make wonderful new memories for people. So if I can help, let's have a conversation.
Awesome. Love that. Yeah, Project Die Hard was our first spotlight speaker, and it's actually on our YouTube page. You can go back and watch that as well. So Mary Gant.
Hey, hi everyone. Father's Day is coming up, and if you haven't thought of a gift yet, you can give a gift from a heart, make it a photo gift. Tomorrow's the last day for standard shipping for a forever photo gift. So I can help you with that, give you some ideas. Also,
Oh, you froze.
then have those watch again, see people.
Hey, Mary, you are freezing. So I'm going to come back around to you. Let's see. I'm going to, and I can't tell if Lorraine is there or not. I'm going to jump down to Bob Hudson, and then as soon as I see them.
Hey, I'm Bob Hudson. I'm here in Tennessee, Maryville area, beautiful area to come to visit and have all that good stuff. Wife and I were both in the Desert Storm. We met in high school, so it wasn't on a military meetup, and but we were both Air Force. And then, thank you all for your service. But we always get thanked for our service, but you know what? We did it for the civilians that are sitting right next to us too. We did it for you guys because we weren't thinking about anything else other than our country. That's what we came from. Anyways, I'm with LifeWave. It's a wonderful technology company. It's a little patch that helps you get out of pain, get your mind set back to the way it's supposed to be. There's all kinds of health benefits to it. We got stories from A to Z, and they're just multiplying every day. We'd love to help you. We'd love to entertain you with a good, no drug type of technology. And so I'm Bob Hudson with LifeWave out of Tennessee.
Great. Thank you, Bob. Lorraine, I didn't see you down there.
Okay.
You're next.
I
I saw your other
Yeah.
box.
I am Lorraine Edwards. I am a speaker, author, podcaster, and relationship coach for single women so that they can live the best life that they live, whether they marry or not. I'm excited to be here, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Lorraine. Okay, and I believe you're coming up pretty soon. I think next week is your spotlight speaker. All right, awesome. Okay, Ron Mayo. I love your background.
Oh,
That's
thanks.
phenomenal.
I love it too. So I am not a veteran, but I support our veterans, and this flag is actually the biggest American flag ever flown. And I help support this nonprofit called Follow the Flag. They fly this flag every 4th of July for a week in Pleasant Grove, Utah. And a couple of years I've helped with taking it down after the week-long event. And another nonprofit that I support, I wear this wristband. I don't know if you see that. It says Honor 365. It's a nonprofit that every day of the year they honor a different veteran or first responder, and they tell their story on their website. And they raise funds for education, housing, jobs, and mental health. And their biggest push is suicide prevention. And that's the reason I got involved with them. I've got 2 daughters that have tried to commit suicide multiple times. And so I wanted to help support them.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Ron. That's really interesting about the flag too. Let's see. I'm going to move on to Natalie. And it's good to have you here, Ron. Natalie.
Thanks.
Hi, I was not a veteran, but I am a surviving spouse. My husband and my brother were in the Korean conflict, older generations, and both came back. Well, they were not in combat, so they both came back and lived full lives, thankfully. But I do thank each of you for all the service that you have done. I am an independent contractor with the Shackley Corporation, so I work with helping people with the philosophy of living in harmony with nature, whether it be supplements for your body within, skincare without, or cleaners for your home to get all the toxins out. We have a wonderful program for veterans, and also I'm in Michigan, but I can work anywhere in the United States with you and introduce you to things that will help you make health decisions for a better life, so that when you're 87, you can still be active and have a full life, as I enjoy. Also, I would say that I'm looking for young moms who would like to have healthy kids that behave well and learn well, and that they can have an income from home. And I'd love it to be military wives, but any young woman would be nice. And so send them my way. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Natalie. Mary,
Okay,
I'm going to
sorry
let you
about that.
finish up.
Our internet was kind of going goofy for a while, but I got my Ethernet, so I should be okay. So anyway, hi, I'm Mary and from Michigan, and Father's Day is coming up. And if you haven't thought of a gift yet, show Dad your love with the photo gift. The deadline for Forever ordering a photo gift through Forever is tomorrow night. I can help you put something nice together. Also too, if Dad has any old home movies, VHS tapes that no longer can be viewed, I can help arrange to get those digitized to Forever, so those memories can be shared again and hear voices from loved ones that you haven't heard from for a while. Mary Gant, your photo coach, because your memories are worth preserving.
Thank you, Mary. And sadly to say, I was going through a bunch of photos and they were all stuck together and a lot of my pictures were ruined. It was just a nightmare. So definitely a good idea. Get with Mary. Okay, let's see, Jacqueline.
Hi, everyone. I'm a musician, a global cookbook author, and a comedy writer. And I found a way that to fuse all three, actually. So right now I have my ebook is on my website. I'm not a veteran, But I'd love to talk with veterans and see if they'd like to be in my program. I have an affiliate program so they can sell my book. This is the print book. I offer this as an ebook only in 2 formats. But yeah, this is some of the food I've cooked as well. And what I also do is I offer custom branding of entertainment for businesses. So if anyone would like to get in touch with me, I've taken 2 cooking classes in Italy, and I make cuisine from different places in the world, Italian food, Greek, Spanish, Thai, Japanese, very many different foods, yeah.
Thank you, Jacqueline. That's, yeah, get on and be a spotlight speaker.
I would
and
love
tell
to
us
be
more
a
about that.
spotlight speaker and find out more,
Make
yes, I
sure you
would.
ate your lunch before she does her thing.
Yeah, exactly. How do I get on the spotlight speaker when I find
Go
out?
to the scuttlebutt.club and there's a form at the bottom.
Okay.
I'll try to share it here in a little bit. Stephen, and then we'll go to Ben and Idris. Is it Idris? Is that how you say your name?
Excuse me. Idris.
Idris. Okay, so let's go to Stephen and then Ben and then Idris.
Well, since I guess I'm doing the spotlight thing.
Okay. Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait for you. Ben, you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, first of all, hello everybody, and thank you for those that serve, and also for civilians that support the military as well. So we can't do it without your support. So we really appreciate everybody. Thanks for having me on the call again. My name is Ben Streeter. I'm in the Atlanta, Georgia area. I served in a Desert Storm time frame, 22 years in the United States Army, chemical operations. And my business now currently is credit repair, and also which is the flagship product. So we challenge negative items and obsolete items for customers that's looking to purchase a home or a car, or just want to better their credit. Because I remember being in the military and getting a security clearance, they want to check your credit there also. So sometimes for promotion that comes in handy. And we also educate people on how credit works. The other main product we offer is wills and trust with a financial and medical power of attorney. So for all of our services, a person can enroll from home on the computer. So even with the wills and trusts, if it takes you 7 days to enroll, you can sign up, fill out some information one day, it'll save the information, and fill out the next day, and it'll save the data, and then it'll mail you everything in a binder. Okay, but and that's about it. That's pretty much it. And thanks again for having me.
Thank you, Ben. And then we'll go to Idris.
Idris, yeah.
All right.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I got some allergy things going on. Hi, yes, my name is Idris Rashid. I live out in Casa Grande, Arizona, which is kind of in between Phoenix and Tucson, if you're familiar with the area, mostly in the Phoenix area. I have not served myself. However, I do have a significant who served the Marines, and all of my siblings and my dad served at one point too as well. So I have strong ties with the with the armed services. I just want to again say thank you to all of you guys who have served or currently serving or even thinking about serving. Thank you for all that you do. To keep us safe, basically, help us have our right. And my business is actually I'm a financial broker. So I work with families and individuals and business owners. We educate you about how money works. They'll teach you about the principles of taxes, how people pay taxes, and how to not have to pay so much with those. And ultimately what I do is I help people prepare for their retirement, ask them what age they want to retire, help them get there, and then I make sure that that they don't run out of money in retirement. Because if you ask any of the current baby boomers now, the ones who are retired, who just retired, what their biggest fear is, it's not death. You think, oh, well, I've been at the end of my life, I've done everything I wanted to do, I'm afraid of dying. But no, their biggest fear is running out of money and having to go back to work. That's what a lot of people are having to do. A lot of these baby boomers are having to go back to work at least part-time, if not full-time, to make ends meet. So my business is set up to where I can help you get on that path towards that, make sure that you're not one of those victims that falls prey to having to go back to the workforce once you made up your mind you want to retire.
Thank you, Idris. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to tell y'all about me. Thank you all for your service, because I know not exactly what you went through, but I know what your families went through because I am a military mom of 2 active duty Marines right now. And I also had a son who was was an Iraq war veteran who was disabled, medically retired from the Army, and he passed away in 2012. I was also a caregiver for my elderly mother, who was an Army WAC veteran, and my dad was also an Army veteran. My sister is an Air Force veteran, so I've got a lot of it in my family. But I did not serve myself, but I was drafted to be a military mom. And I would love to get together with you, each of you, for a one-to-one, even if we've already met before, just to kind of get caught up on one another. You can go to angelanelson.life. I am a Legal Shield associate, and I am also a WealthWave. I work with WealthWave Financials. So we need to have one-to-ones. I'm going to take a real quick picture if everybody would mind smiling. On a count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much. Now, let me get this picture. Okay, get this thing out of the way. Let me share my screen. So our next part of our meeting is our hero highlight, and then we'll be going into our spotlight speaker spots, so which both will be done by Stephen Russell, who is a brand new author. He's also a comic strip or comic artist, and his book that he just published was Troublemakers, the greatest dog and pony show in Iraq. And I'm going to let you talk about that and about your, let me switch over here a second. Also, is this information correct, Stephen? Oh, no.
Nope, not the email.
So I was in the middle of getting these slides ready, and I had almost everything done, and all of a sudden, all of it was gone. It went right back to where I started. And I don't know how that happened. That's never happened to me before, but that was one of those things that I did, but it must not have taken. So I'm going to stop sharing so that you can share if you would like to.
And the block on my screen is black, so I don't know if anybody can't see me or any of that.
Yeah, your screen is black. No, we can't see you.
Because I got the video going.
So did you share your screen? I mean, let's see.
See, I can share the screen, and is everyone able to see that?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, sorry if the, excuse me, the video's not working, but, so for the heroes highlight this week, what I would like to do is highlight my great uncle, Paul Pappy Gunn, Paul Irving Gunn, an Arkansas native. Paul Irving Gunn joined the U.S. Navy in 1918, retiring as a chief petty officer in 1939. After his retirement, he started Hawaiian Airlines and Philippine Airlines. With the entry of the United States into World War II, Gunn was commissioned as a captain in the U.S. Army Air Corps in the early days of the war in the Philippines. Gunn used the 2 remaining Philippine airlines to shuttle supplies from Mindanao to Luzon. While Gunn escaped to Australia when the Philippines fell to the Japanese, his family remained behind and was interned at Santo Tomas Prison Camp in Manila. More on that later. One of Gunn's most notable achievements with the 5th Air Force was arming B-25 Mitchell bombers with numerous 50 caliber machine guns, making the aircraft into a deadly strafing attacker. he was also experimented with the 75mm cannons in the nose of the B-25, and down there towards the bottom. Sorry, let's see. He is said to have flown more missions than any other man during the war. Gunn was killed in his plane crash in a storm in the Philippines in October 1957. I know him through my great uncle, who's also, Paul Irving Gunn Jr. And he used to talk about him a lot. And he's also one of the children who was in a Japanese prisoner of war camp during the war. And he ended up joining the army and fighting in the Korean War, in military intelligence. So it's a wonderful legacy to be a part of. And years later, myself as a airborne infantryman who served in the 173rd Airborne Brigade was a part of that legacy, because that's the unit that went to the Philippines and uh, you know rescued all of those prisoner of wars. So it's an amazing story. He has his own little place at the MacArthur Memorial in Norfolk, Virginia. So if you ever find yourself out there, definitely go hit it up. And there's been a few books written about him as well. It's just too bad, he's not in any, movies or anything, because he was an amazing guy.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's my hero highlight. I hope you guys appreciate that, and it's wonderful to be a part of that legacy. And that's part of the joy, of serving, is that decades later you get to be a part of that legacy as well, just by serving in those units. So something I take a lot of pride in. And then, I guess I'll start out with myself. Name is Steven. I joined the U.S. Army originally as an 11 Bravo, as we call in the airborne, a dirty leg. I didn't do any airborne service my first time in. And it was from 2004 to 2008. And that's where I deployed to Iraq with the 1st Cav Division. And that's really what my book is about, Troublemakers, the greatest dog and pony show in Iraq. I was there during the surge in Bakuba, where some of the most fierce fighting occurred. During that deployment, we lost 12 guys, and I think it was 36 across the battalion. So it was extremely chaotic and crazy. And, it's part of the American culture that we haven't really, been talking about much over the last 20 years. And, I felt that our story was something that needed to be shared. So I sat down. It took me about 15 years of going back and forth between notes and talking to people, but I eventually put it in a book format and threw that out there. It's called Troublemakers. That is the name of my platoon in Iraq. We were called the Troublemakers. And the reason we were called the Troublemakers is everyone in the platoon had at least one Article 15. For you Marines and Navy guys, that's NJP. So we were a bunch of knuckleheads, and it was a crazy time, but it's one of those periods of your life where you'd never take it back. And the people that you were with, it was something special, and I felt our story needed to be told. So it's up on Amazon. If you go to Amazon and look up Troublemakers or my name, Stephen Russell, you'll see that pop up there. And that's live now. And then the second thing that I do is I am, as Angela said, I'm a comic book artist. I draw and do the story concepts for a comic called Tales of Nihilism that is published on Global Comics. And we do a main story issue, we do short stories, and then we do like little comic strips and things like that, just to throw some extra content in there. And those stories are a lot of it is inspired by my experiences as a veteran, some of the struggles that I've been through, and some of those unique experiences that we all have as veterans. And the first main story that I tell, we call the Ballad of Philip Kirshner, and it's about a normal man who lives in a world full of superheroes, and just how absolutely horrifying and difficult it would be to live in that world. And it kind of like goes through that idea of, you know, my personal experiences being a veteran and getting out and having this like feeling, you know, you're told, you know, you're an American hero, you're a veteran, you're supposed to be well respected in the community, and you know, you keep having these struggles and going through these unique, you know, difficulties and over and over again. So it's kind of that like play on there. We like to do our stories that way in artistic and philosophical you know, ways. And I'm also a an artist in Veterans at Ease magazine, um, done by Devil Dog Publishing. I'll, I write there under the pen name The Salty Skipper, and I'll do cadences in there. I illustrate cadences, you know, like the Airborne Rager, By His Boots. And so that's a little of the first one that I submitted. I've done 3 since then. And you can go on at Ease Veteran Magazine. And I think it's pretty decent, the pricing on that. They have it where you can do it month to month or quarterly. And it's a very nice magazine. They feature all veterans, stories by vets, writings, poems, art, you know, so it's a great magazine to check out. And then where the business portion, I guess, comes in on my comics, what I like to do, I know a lot of the independent comic creators nowadays are out there doing the Kickstarters and the Indiegogos and, you know, these profit or shared, you know, deals. But to me, it seems like a weird business practice because, you know, you're telling people to invest in your business and then there's no return on investment in a lot of those things. And so I sat down and thought, like, what is the business of comics? And really and truly, it's not selling the comics at all. Even Marvel and DC lose a lot of money, you know, selling individual comics. Where they're making their money is through their intellectual property rights, through merchandising, you know, the toys and movies and stuff like that. And then through selling advertising. And of course, I'm an independent creator. I'm not, you know, anything like Marvel or DC. So I can't make toys. I can't, you know, sell off intellectual property rights. But what I can do is offer advertising space in these comics that I physically print when I go to conventions. As you can see, we got a huge readership, page reads so far. We've got almost 8,500 page reads. You can see that little spike there. That spike was last year when we did Plastic City Comic Con, which we're returning to this July. So when we're in Massachusetts, I think it was John who said he's up there Saturday, July 20th. Hope to see you there. If you buy a comic, I'll definitely sign it for you and all that. But that, you know, that's what we offer the advertisings for. Typically, we're doing a quarter page for $100, and we'll do 25 copies per issue. And we go up there. It's a great place for you to advertise your small business and interact with a community of, you know, dedicated, you know, for lack of a better word, nerds. You know, we're all getting together and reading comics and having a good time. And, you know, they get to have that interpersonal interaction with you and talk about, you know, your content and all the fun stuff about it. And in the meantime, you know, you have your advertising space in there, and that's your kind of foot in the door, you know, because these independent comic conventions typically don't have a lot of marketing going on because the creators are trying to, you know, take a lot of that. And so Plastic City Comic Con, if anybody's interested, the last, you know, issues to do advertising or this week, because we got to get to print quick for that. But later during the year, we got sponsored to go to Veteran Comic-Con out in San Francisco. And we're going sponsored by Oscar Mike Radio, a veteran podcast here on the East Coast. And so as well with all the advertising that we have, you'll also have that extra bit of promotion as well, because it's going to be promoted on the podcast and, you know, proliferated across social media and all that fun stuff. So that's Tales of Nihilism and the business model there. If anybody's interested in, you know, advertising, get with me. talesofnihilism@gmail.com. We also have, like I was showing there, the Facebook page where we kind of put out, you know, our schedule, what's coming up next and things like that. We just did our last issue last Wednesday, and it's been a great ride. So thank you so much for your time, guys.
Thank you so much, Stephen. That was very interesting. And oh, hold on a second. Whoop. Okay, thank you, Stephen. I think you let her in. All right. If y'all have questions, because we're running short on time, you did great on your time. I'm afraid I probably was long-winded on my end, but I want to kind of wrap us up on time. Set up a one-to-one with Stephen, and I just encourage each of you to set up one-to-ones with each other. I am going to share my screen here, try to wrap this up so everybody can get going. Thank you again, Stephen, for that wonderful presentation.
No problem.
Okay. Be sure to order his book. And so our spotlight speaker next week is Lorraine. If you don't see your face up there, get on our spotlight speaker calendar by going to the scuttlebutt.club and fill out the form at the bottom. Be sure to pick more than one date. I do have July 29th open up because Stephen was on that date, but he filled in for somebody else today. So you would have to email me about that one because I don't think it's on there on the form. But anyway, so we have plenty of dates open. Our last Did You Know is in D-Day, the troops manned more than how many ships and how many aircraft the day of the initial landing, and is considered one of the largest amphibious military assaults in history. Does anybody have a guess or gander? No. 5,000 ships and 13,000 aircraft. That's why it's a big deal. That is a lot. And speaking of D-Day, I have this little 1-minute little thing to show you. And then we will wrap up here.
In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world.
Es soll, und dies ist unser unbändiger Wille und unser niemals mehr abzuändernder Entschluss. Es soll aber aus diesen Opfern heraus
under the command of General Eisenhower, Allied naval forces, supported by strong air forces, began landing Allied armies this morning on the northern coast of France.
I thought those sheer numbers were just very eye-opening to me. I always thought of D-Day as just something that you see on the news once in a while, but it was a very big turning point in the war. So our inspirational thought to end on is there is no exercise better for the heart than reaching down and lifting people up. That was said by John Holmes. And I feel like that's what each of us do here for one another. I want to thank you each for coming. And I think we actually finished on time. So, and I do want to say, does anybody have any testimonials that they would like to give for anybody in the group? Has everybody had a chance to have a one-to-one? If you haven't, like, go on to save your chat, go to the chat in the bottom. Now, for me, it's at the bottom. There's on the computer, there's 3 little dots next to like where the emojis is, and you click on that and it'll say save chat, and it'll put it in a text file under a file folder that it will call Zoom. Or if you already have a Zoom file folder, it'll stick it there. And you can go back and check it out.
Gotta run, Angela. Thank
Bye,
you. Another great
Santa.
meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's set up a one-to-one.
Yes, for sure.
I put my information in the chat. Make sure everybody has their information there.
I didn't see the information. I had to step off and then come back to
Oh,
the.
okay. Let
Yeah, I didn't
me,
see your email. I wanted to contact you.
yeah, let me do this. I'm gonna put this in here. And if anybody else needs to leave, I try really hard to keep us on time. So
I do want to give a shout out to Mary Stanley, who I met through this group a couple of weeks ago. Had a separate one-on-one with her, and she introduced me to a gentleman that is probably going to become our keynote speaker for our event in San Diego on the USS Midway. So that was
awesome.
an awesome.
Yes, those are the kind of connections that we need to make here. I'm so happy to hear that, Dennis. Anybody else make any really good connections? If you think of a connection just for this group, reach out to them, send them a link. It's free if they are on Alignable. I don't even know if Alignable has a membership fee. I mean, that you can, I think you can get on for free.
Right. You can.
Yeah.
You can.
You can get on for free, and coming to the meeting is free. So
I'm still working on my homework from Paul. You know, I had forgot about you, man. It's just been real busy the last month and a half.
okay.
See you guys next week.
See you all next week. And I'm going to
Angela.
stop recording. Yes.
Can you